Community is everything to me. It's partnerships, it's private money, it's maybe even more importantly, motivation when things
Mhm.
get tough. Real estate investing is like not an easy thing. You guys know that. There's like many times of the year where you want to throw in the towel and you're like, this
Mhm.
is hard. And so maybe even more importantly than the tactical, because you can almost get that from a book, is someone to kind of pick you up and tell you to keep going, to
Mhm.
share those like really difficult things with, and to strategize how you're going to get through them. It's a journey, and you can't be on that journey alone. You can, but, like, why would you want to?
I
It's
agree.
so much more fun with other people.
Without Fear of Her Future podcast is for women who are passionately pursuing financial freedom, using multiple streams of income and real estate to accomplish their goals. We are here to empower you to be brave, dream big, and design a life you love. I am your co host, Teresa Todd, founder of the Women's Real Estate Investors Network and author of the book Without Fear of Her Future.
And I'm Melissa Baker, real estate investor and fitness coach specializing in turning properties from drab to fab. I'm here to help motivate and inspire you to build your dream life because, girl, you deserve it. Today, we have a remarkable guest joining us, a powerhouse in the world of real estate, someone who's built a multi-million-dollar real estate portfolio. Along the way, replaced the conventional 9 to 5 grind with the sweet sound of passive income. When she was just 22, she bought her first rental property, navigated a pandemic, and has since rapidly scaled her portfolio. She's now 26 and has grown to 50 properties in less than 2 years. She's living proof that age, experience, or market conditions need not be barriers to success. So, grab your favorite cup of coffee, get comfortable, and join me in welcoming the incredible real estate investor, mentor, and founder of Lattes and Leases, Soli Cayetano.
Oh,
Soli.
quite
Hi.
impressive. Quite
Oh
impressive
my
resume
gosh.
there.
It
Thanks for
really
having me
is.
here.
We're
No,
so
you guys look
excited.
so cute in your Valentine's outfits today.
Thank you.
We are so excited to have you on the show and to have this episode. I know you have so much to share with our listeners, and I want to start out. You're so young, but you've got quite a background. Can you
Yeah.
just tell us a little bit about where you were at 22, or even a few years before that, how where you were and how you got into real estate investing?
Yeah, so I got into real estate investing right at the beginning of the pandemic. So it was a really big world event that completely changed my life. Before that, I was a in college. So in 2020, I was a senior in college. I was also working as a full-time real estate broker in the commercial space, so leasing office space, selling office buildings all around the country. And when the pandemic came, it just shut down everything I knew in life. It shut down school, it shut down work. And for the first time in forever, I had a moment to breathe and think and realize that I was walking into a 100% commission based job in a pandemic leasing office space. And I thought to myself, I better do something so that I create some passive income for myself to pay for my rent and buy my groceries and survive, knowing that a lot of people aren't going to be needing office space anytime soon. And I wasn't
Mhm.
sure when my next paycheck was going to come in.
Right.
Wow. Well, you jumped
Yeah.
into the right thing. I believe.
Yes.
Okay, so you have various real estate strategies under your belt. Tell us a little bit about your favorite strategy and why.
Yeah, so my favorite strategy is honestly long-term rentals. So long-term rentals are a lot more passive than a lot of other strategies, and it's a great way to get your feet wet in real
Mhm.
estate. You can always pass off that property management. You can invest anywhere in the country and be a little bit more hands off. But what I realized in doing a lot of long-term rentals is that it was going to take me a long time to reach my financial freedom number doing it $100 per month or $200 per month at a time. And so that's what I expanded into I guess my second or my supplementary favorite strategy, which is midterm rentals, doing furnished rentals and renting them out to people like travel nurses
Mhm.
for 3 to 6 months at a time, and as a way to significantly increase the cash flow coming in per property.
Right. So
Wow.
when you're looking at an opportunity or a property, how do you decide which of those strategies you're gonna use with that particular opportunity?
So I've also flipped. I've done short-term rentals. I've done a whole lot of other strategies, and A lot of it really depends on the location. So if you're doing a long-term rental and you're maybe doing Section 8, you're usually in maybe Class C or Class D neighborhoods. They're more working class neighborhoods where there's a lot of renters, and that's not necessarily the type of neighborhood where a young female single travel nurse wants to walk at night, say.
Right.
And so when you're looking at different asset classes and trying to figure out what neighborhoods would work best for different strategies, it's looking at the neighborhood and figuring out what strategy works best. So right now, my favorite strategy is combining both long-term and midterm rental strategies and finding those class B areas that are safe, that are nice, but catered toward working with both of them so that we can have that diversified income.
Very nice. Now you're in where are you? You're in the Bay Area, is that correct? And you
Yes, Bay
but you
Area
invest where?
in Cincinnati, Ohio, and in Augusta, Georgia. So Bay Area is very expensive. It's $1 million, $2 million, and very difficult to cash flow. And so when I was 22 and starting out, I had about $50,000 that I had saved up from working, and I maybe could have bought a condo, but that wouldn't really have been an investment property, and so I thought to myself, "Where could I go where houses were much more affordable?" And that's
Mhm.
how I landed on investing in Cincinnati, where houses at the time were about $100,000.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I love that. I love that. Okay, so and you have already, I mean, you just jumped in, and now you're no longer you're full time real estate, so no 9 to 5 job for you. So when did you transition and become a full time real estate investor?
I was 15 months in, after I bought my first rental property, I officially quit my job and I became full-time real estate investor.
Wow, wow. Okay, so you still have that very first rental property that you purchased?
I do.
Yeah. Now where's that one?
That one is in Cincinnati, Ohio. So originally, when I was exploring what market to invest in, everyone's biggest question when you're thinking about investing out of state is where do I invest? I mean, there's
Mhm.
hundreds, thousands of different markets across the country, and I think it's all very paralyzing of like
Mhm.
where because there's so many similar markets, and if I don't know anyone or I haven't lived there before, like how am I supposed to figure out how to buy a property there?
Mhm.
And so when I was picking my market, I had actually met a local investor during like my time working at this brokerage company who had a couple rental properties and I asked him to jump on a Zoom call with me and kind of show me where to go, where to invest, where to not invest, and introduce me to his real estate agent. And that was my competitive advantage. So when people are thinking, where do I invest? You got to ask yourself, where is your competitive advantage? Where do you know someone who is investing,
Mhm.
who can show you around, who can introduce you to an agent? And that's a big leg up in any market.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm listening to so many things that you said. First of all, just what a powerhouse to be so young and determined and not a victim. Because easily could have just went into the victimhood of, oh my gosh, like, how am I going to do anything in commercial real estate when nobody's renting out spaces because of the pandemic and but you just decided to figure something out and had an alternative plan and learned it, went out, took action, made the right phone calls, reached out, had a Zoom call. I mean, there's a lot of 22-year-olds that wouldn't even do those little things that really got you where you are today. So I really want our listeners to, hear that
Mhm.
for success, we have to get uncomfortable. We have to be willing to, do some things and ask for help
Yeah.
and get out there and do your research and all of those things. But it's so worth it, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, absolutely. And finding a community that shares those same goals and same values is, I think, probably the most important thing when you're starting out. Because if you're at home and your family and your friends are telling you you can't do it, you're going to think you can't do
Hmm.
it. And if you
Yeah.
surround yourself with people who tell you you can do it, and look, I did it, and all these other people did it, you're going to feel like much more empowered that it's possible.
Now, I just have to ask this. Do you come you were just mentioning your family, friends. Did you have, real estate investors in your life, like your parents or friends or that kind of guided you? How did I mean, I know you were a broker, you said, but that's in the commercial space and in leasing, not in investing and in real estate, residential. So, was there someone that kind of mentored you into this?
Yeah, no family in real estate. So I know a lot of people a lot of people there's this joke in commercial real estate. How did you get into real estate? And the answer is either my dad did it or it
Yeah.
was an accident.
Yeah.
And so for me, it was like almost an accident. I kind of fell into it. I didn't have any parents or anyone in my family who could kind of guide me through that, which was challenging. I didn't
Yeah.
really have a mentor to guide me through it, but I was in my real estate association in college, and I was really lucky to have a real estate association where I knew a couple of other students who were buying rental properties, and I heard their stories. And at first I thought they were kind of crazy, but I obviously it was working. Like they were making money. And so after I talked to them a little bit, and again, I was like, okay, maybe it's possible. They can do it. Maybe I can do it. They gave me some educational resources, bigger pockets to listen to.
Mhm.
And from there, I really built a really strong community on Instagram. And I mean, pros and cons of the pandemic, but for me, it forced me to kind of disconnect from my old community who did not prioritize the same thing that I did, and it helped me find people online who did prioritize those things. And my
Mhm.
Instagram followers became each one of them became my mentors because I made an Instagram before I even had a rental property. And the first few months I literally just asked questions. So it's like, what am I supposed to do? What is a pre-approval? Can somebody help me? And people were so kind in helping answer some of those questions and push me along for that first rental property.
I love it. I love it. So what books, courses, or did you ever eventually have a true mentor that played a role in shaping your understanding of real estate as you started growing?
Yeah, my first book I ever read in real estate was David Green's Long Distance Real Estate Investing,
Mhm.
and that was really helpful because it took down a lot of barriers that I thought that a lot of people misconceptions that I thought about investing. Like, do I need to put in my own offers? Like, no, that's what your agent's for. Like, do I need to manage my own property? Like, no, that's what your property manager is for. And
Mm.
so it
Yeah.
kind of gave me like the tactical
Mhm.
pieces of investing in a state. And then as I scaled, I really scaled using private money, other people's money. And
Yeah.
so I read Matt Fairclough's book, Raising Private Capital. And it was
Mhm.
a really great roadmap for how do you take away the biggest obstacle that people think is money, access to
Yeah.
capital? And I really mastered raising private money pretty early on in my investing journey, which is the probably the number one thing that's allowed me to scale.
Yes, for sure.
Nice, very nice. All right, so Lee, lattes and leases. Let's talk about this. What was the inspiration behind creating this brand and how has it evolved?
So when I originally started out, I just picked like this kitschy name because I thought that no one but my mom would follow me, and then people started following me, and now people like don't even know my name. They will literally email me and say hi lattes, and it's like my name is literally on my Instagram. But the reason I named it that is because I used to be a barista. So when I was 14, I got a job so that I didn't have to ask my parents for money, and I worked there from 14 to 19. And
Wow.
I know it was one of my favorite jobs though. It literally your only job is to make people happy and to give them coffee. They entered in upset and they left happy. And so it's it's where I learned to talk to people.
Yeah.
I was really shy as a kid, and when you work in a coffee shop, you need to be able to talk to anybody and everybody about anything. And I kind of combined my love of two things, real estate and lattes,
Yeah.
coffee, into this brand, and it's actually served me really well. I didn't think it would become anything big, but very organically, it started to grow pretty quickly.
That is incredible. I just have to ask this, what do your parents think? Are they just so proud of you at this point?
At first, I think they might have thought I was a little crazy. Mom was a professional violinist, and my dad's an immigrant from the Philippines, and so their backgrounds are not in anything having to do with investment or finance. But my mom has always and will always be very supportive, and she actually flew out to my first rental property with me.
Oh.
Yeah, to see what we bought. I was like, "Come see what we bought." And she was there for a week, and she was actually my very first, private money lender as well, and kinda
I
kicked that
love
all off
it.
for me. My dad wants to get into investing eventually, but surprisingly, like, I thi they're not as in the weeds as I am, but they're very supportive of what I do. I think especially because they've seen how it's changed my life and
Yeah.
how it changed it so fast. And so I was
Yeah.
able
That's
to scale
awesome.
really quickly, quit my job very quickly, and I
Yeah.
think they see the transformation and they can understand some of the power of real estate investing.
Yeah, I love it. Well, I know they've got to be proud of you. So, what motivated you to then begin teaching others about real estate investing, and what's that journey look like for you?
So people started very organically coming to me, and it started, after a year I had bought about 25 units, and everybody was like, "Whoa, I'm still on my first one. Like, how'd you do that?" And so people started reaching out and just saying, like, "How did you do it? Can you teach me? I'm stuck at the first one. I can't get over analysis paralysis." And so I started putting together programs, kind of teaching. My thought process has always been do and then turn around and teach. And
Mhm.
so it's coming
That's good.
from a perspective of this is what has worked for me. I'm not going to say it's the gold standard and it works for everybody, but let me put together a framework to kind of help you take action. And that's kind of the most important part is you can give everybody the how to, but if you don't give them the path to actually doing anything, then they're not going to do anything. So I started putting together coaching programs and courses. And then most recently, back in September, I launched Out of State Investor Academy. And it's a community for people who are investing out of state. And it's a whole framework for learning how to start and scale your portfolio.
Good for
Very
you.
nice. Wow.
Yeah.
So the importance of community is quite evident in your approach. How has building that community, do you think, attributed to your success? And what do you see it carrying you forward?
Yeah, community is everything to me. It's partnerships, it's private money, it's maybe even more importantly motivation when things
Mhm.
get tough. Real estate investing is like not an easy thing. You guys know that. There's like many times of the year where you want to throw in the towel and you're like, this
Mhm.
is hard. And so more, maybe even more importantly than the tactical, because you can almost get that from a book, is someone to kind of pick you up and tell you to keep going, to
Mhm.
share those like really difficult things with, and to strategize how you're going to get through them. It's a journey, and you can't be on that journey alone. You can, but like, why would you want to?
I
It's
Yeah.
agree.
so much more fun with other people.
Yeah, so good. Okay, so what advice would you have for someone who's maybe listening, especially a young woman, but really anybody that wants to turn their passion into a sustainable business? They want to become a real estate investor. What would you say? What are the first steps?
Change your circle or audit your
Mhm.
circle and figure out what the people around you prioritize. Is it going out? Is it spending money? Or is it becoming a better person and achieving big goals? If you don't have anyone around you who is investing in real estate, figure out how to get in that room. You don't
Mhm.
necessarily have to pay $10,000 to do that. Start by going to a local meetup, or going to a free event, or maybe investing in a conference that's $300. But I think putting yourself in that room, people are really key. You need tactical information, but again, you need that confidence and you need that accountability to actually take action when things get tough. And so I think that once you change your circle, it changes a lot of other stuff just by a domino effect.
I agree.
Yeah, that's
Love
really
it.
good. That's really good.
Love it.
So Lee, we all know as investors that the real estate market can be quite dynamic and lots of shifting going on. How do you adapt your strategies to the changing market conditions? And I mean, especially speaking over what we've seen over these past couple of years.
Yeah, no, when I started investing in real estate, it was 3.5% interest rates, and I didn't know how good I had it until it was taken away.
Yeah.
But it was great back then. It was very competitive, but anything cash flowed at 3% interest
Mhm.
rates. And as the years went by, the interest rates doubled and then got even higher. And so
Mhm.
we actually ended up shifting some of our properties into flips because the cash, like, when you look at the numbers, it's, do you want $100 of cash flow per month, or do you want to take a $30,000 chunk and reinvest it? And
Mhm.
so making decisions like that, being able to adjust a strategy and have multiple exit strategies, something that's really important to me, my partners, my teams, is being able to look at properties in multiple ways so that we
Mhm.
know that we can hold them as rentals. We can possibly turn them into furnished rentals. We can flip them if we need to. And as rates adjust, so we were looking at refinancing some properties and we're like, well, we didn't expect rates to go up to 8%. We thought they would maybe stick at 6, but in this
Mhm.
case, the cash flow is very compressed. How about we just flip it? Being able to make those decisions based off of numbers is really important.
I love it.
Yeah.
I agree.
Smart.
Smart girl. Smart girl.
Very, very.
Okay, so what about you traveling around the world while managing real estate? That's got to be exciting. Do you do a lot of traveling, and how do you balance being in, the Bay Area and having these properties, in other states?
I do travel a lot. I just not always around the world internationally. I traveled for 6 months in 2021, and that
Wow.
was that was fun, but it was long. It was a marathon. And nowadays I travel, like I just came back from Austin in January, I went to Maui and I went to Denver and I went to LA. So
For
I do take
you.
a lot of trips. I know, very fun. And that's one of my favorite things that real estate has allowed me to do is before when I was a broker, technically you're a contractor, so you can technically do whatever you want, but really they're like, you're not in your desk. Like, where are you? Especially because
Yeah.
I was a junior broker, so I was really like, I need to impress these people. I'm sitting at my desk all day, and I would literally
Yeah.
sit there until everybody left and be
Oh.
like, okay, I can go home now. But in terms of managing, I would say really partnerships, and then hiring out things like property management. I know a lot of
Mhm.
people try to take it and they can do it and they can hire VAs and they can have systems, but honestly, for me, it's like I just don't wanna hear about the problems,
Yep.
put someone else between me and the tenants,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
I'm happy to pay 10%, like,
Yes,
that peace
ma'am.
of mind is way better than even hiring. It stresses me out.
Yeah, I so agree. I'm a big proponent of having
Yeah.
a property management company for my short term or my long term
Mhm.
rentals, all of the above. That's awesome.
Definitely.
And it's so awesome that you're so young and you're having so much success and you have that ability to travel and have your freedom and be financially free and all these things.
Yeah.
I know that you are an inspiration to so many who are listening. I didn't get in this game until I was 50. And so the fact that you're half my age and doing it, I love that for you. So impressive. So
There's
impressive.
it's always a good time to get started. I like to say that. In our community, we have
Yes.
18-year-olds and we have 65-year-olds, and
Yep.
I think it's incredible that, just a few short years can really change your life forever.
Um,
Yes.
Doesn't matter when you start. You could be
That is
when you're at
so
it.
true. That's
being
true.
being only 26, Soli, what's the one thing that you with your investing career that you're most proud of so far?
Ooh, hard
Mhm.
question. Um, Probably my first rental property, just because it took, um it took a lot, to get into it, to overcome some problems, to make it was a huge learning curve, and so being able to navigate some of those problems early on without, a mom or a dad to guide me through
Mhm.
it built a lot of resilience and it built a lot of really good experiences. And so that kind of opened the floodgates to every other property after that. And I'm
Yeah.
really proud that I stuck through all of those difficult, challenging things because
Yeah.
Right.
I'm only better for it.
I agree. And we never forget that first deal. We never forget
Yeah.
it. Yeah. And, I always love to say this. When you get that very first deal, it changes your life because now you know that you can do it. And it's just about, okay, I just need to go back and go do this again and again and again. So,
Mhm.
really, especially I think for a woman, when they get that very first deal, something happens on the inside of you. It's like, I really never have to be afraid of my future. I can do this.
Yep, and that passive income, I always say that my first rental property changed my life, but it wasn't because of the cash flow. 500 bucks
Yes.
per month, it's not
Yeah.
gonna make me financially free, but it gave me the skill sets to repeat it
Yeah.
again and again, and that's what's
Yeah.
important.
Woo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that definitely is.
Yeah.
So, Soli, for someone just starting out in real estate investing, what is the most crucial piece of advice that you could offer them?
Don't wait until you feel 100% ready to jump in because you will never feel 100% ready.
That's good.
You're waiting for some secret confidence. It's really action creates confidence. You don't have to feel confident to take action. So the more that you can do and then learn from doing, the better outcome you're going to have.
Oh,
Yeah,
so true.
it
So
is.
true.
It is. Yes.
Okay, so are there any exciting projects or goals on the horizon that you can give us a sneak peek into? What's next for you?
So right now I'm actually looking for a boutique hotel. One of my
Ah.
yeah, we were just under contract for 20 cabins outside of Denver, but unfortunately just fell out of contract last week. And so now I'm on the hunt for the next boutique hotel. And some of the reasoning behind that is I spent almost 4 years now building up a very steady base of boring passive income through long-term rentals and midterm rentals. And my family always says, "Can we go see them?" And I'm like, "You don't want to see them. They're really boring." And now I want to buy properties that are more experiential hospitality and I can play with. And I think that
Yeah.
since I have that steady base of cash flow, I'm able to take a little bit more risk and have a little bit more fun.
That's
Yeah. Oh,
awesome.
that's
That is
incredible. I
awesome.
love it.
Well, Soli, you have so much to offer our listeners and being so young, such great experience. Can you tell our listeners how they can connect with you online?
Yes, Instagram's the best place, lattes.and.leases. I have free courses, free worksheets, free lots of stuff, and so you can free content. You can go over there and learn if you want to learn how to invest in a state.
Love it. I love it.
Absolutely.
I love
Well,
it.
Soli, thank you so much for being with us today. This was so good. I know our listeners are loving every little ounce of advice that you've given.
Thanks so much for having me. It's super fun.
All right. Well, subscribe now to the Without Fear of Her Future podcast for new episode alerts. And if you're ready, like Soli, to take charge of your financial future, join our masterclass now. Imagine waking up each morning confident in your family's financial security. Everyday women, just like you, are turning their real estate into life changing profits. This masterclass is your golden ticket to rapid financial freedom. So dare to dream bigger and seize control of your future. So click that link in the episode description to register for the next masterclass and embark on a transformative journey today.
Thank you so much for joining us today. On behalf of the Women's Real Estate Investors Network and Teresa Todd, I'm Melissa Baker, encouraging you to be brave and dream big.